To call the regular meeting to order. We're here in acceptance of the minutes of the July 10th, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Now, did actually, Mark, you were gonna make that minor change to the attendee.
For the minutes, right? You just want me to discuss it real quick.
Sure.
So we're just gonna make, last time when we had the students come. We had a large number of them. And I have all of them listed here, but I didn't remember which names were present versus on Zoom because there are so many. So I'm just gonna make an edit where it says others present remotely. I'm gonna edit to others present, and then I think we had one or two that were remote, so I'll just edit those. But should just be a small change. And then do you want to do the motion for the
Sure.
Glen Hollow Drive?
What we do, we'd like to under
New business.
new business, we'd like to add an item. Document 1. The motion for termination of deferment of sewer assessment and collection for lots 9300, 9301, 9302, 9303, 4, 5, 6, 7 on Glen Hollow Drive that are currently the property of the town of Farmington. So we're terminating permit. You want to give any other information on that, Mark?
We had touched on it last meeting. Basically, we're holding the money in escrow until the approval would go through with the WPCA commission tonight. The town already owns it, and there's $9,400 in escrow until we approve it, so we can vote and move that forward.
Any questions? And then do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, any discussion?
What is this doing? Not clear.
Oh, yeah,
They're not gonna be connecting to the sewer any longer, so there's no reason to have a money for a sewer connection for those lots.
So where's the money go now?
It's that open space.
The town bought it, I believe. They already own it. Yeah, I think they're using it for open space, if I'm correct. So
So the money in escrow, where's it going now?
that should
I guess
be
that's my real question.
For-
the town
for
coffers.
town of Farmington, but I
The
don't know
town
what
gets it back,
I don't know what they're using it for specifically though.
so it's going to the town.
Correct.
She might. She would, you know.
Sarah, do you know anything specific on this?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you know anything specific on the Glen Hollow Drive?
I do not.
There's 8 lots that are going, the town owns them already, but the money's in escrow right now until we just approve the termination. Was it open space or?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Oh, that's
Not
okay.
that, yeah.
That's all right, it's a long shot, we just thought you might know.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay. And I had Phil and Kevin approved it, right?
Right.
Okay. All right.
And then that to be changed for fill a secretary. Right.
Yep. You want to sign it and then I'll scan it. I think they just want a signature by Kevin. Or
Plus signed by Phil.
Phil, yeah, you know what? They had that wrong.
Right, that's why I said.
Yeah, I'll edit that after.
So you will still sign.
Yep, I'm gonna edit it once we're done with the main one.
Right? And we have the reports, we have the monthly operating report summary for both July and August 2024.
So as normal, if you have any questions, let me know. Try to go through them both. July averaged 3.2 million gallons with a max flow of 6 million. Removal efficiencies of BOD and TSS were 98 and 98.3%. We were 51 pounds under the nitrogen permit for July, so we removed 87.7%. Total phosphorus effluent was 60 pounds and 2.23 milligrams a liter. Average 3.1 for the E. coli and 21.6 for the biosolids. The month of August, we averaged 3.9 million a day. Max flow 8.9 million. Removal efficiencies for BOD and TSS were 98.3 and 98.5. Nitrogen efficiency was the same at 87.7, and we were 52 pounds under the permit. Total phosphorus was 46 pounds a day, or 1.49 milligrams a liter. And the E. coli geomean was 3.6. Any questions on those? Moving to the report. Lee Hardin Way system passed all testing requirements. Connections to the homes remain. We had them do a little smoothing in some of the lines, but everything there looked good. Yukon pump station, July 9th, we replaced the fan motor for the generator louvers, assist in drawing fresh air for the generator from utility power. South Road pump station. Oh, and then also at Yukon, we did have a later alarm there. I think I had it. Let me just make sure it was in the report. If I didn't include it also with it, I'll go over. We had a later alarm where the backup actually failed going into the INC panel, which is basically the backup if you lose utility power. So it tripped the relay and took out the whole panel. Some of the panels at Yukon are approaching 30 years old because the station was in 2001 it was done, or two. So some of the VFDs in that were 3 to 4 years old before. So we're going to look at replacing some of the VFDs and some of the INC controls. So we're going to try to have a quote for that moving forward. It's not a station we want to go down with. And I would say out of the 3 big stations, that's definitely the oldest at this point, because there's Stanley, Patrick Flood, which are both mid 2000s. And then Yukon being probably the 3rd largest. July 15th, we picked up a rebuilt pump for South Road for Rem and Hartford. It was installed. We've been running it since then. Patrick Flood pump station. We had a backup alarm on August 1st. It was noted that the wet well level was normal, but the fog rod had failed, and all the fog rod is, it's literally a rod that sits in there, and it's relays that basically go on the level if the main transducer fails. So we ended up having NIC come out, and we're going to replace the fog rods at Patrick Flood and Stanley. They're both acting up around the same time. They're about 10 to 12 years old. So we ended up putting in a new transducer and a logic on August 20th. So now we have a primary pressure transducer, a secondary one if that one fails, and then a float backup as well. This was what I was discussing at Yukon. We're going to put some new logic in, so a UPS can't take out the INC control, but more importantly, we're going to look at the VFDs and some of the other pieces of it. It was kind of pieced together from probably the mid 90s all the way to 2010. So we're going to try to streamline a lot of that and kind of get it up to date. And also we're going to, if we have to bypass the station for that, which we would for the VFDs and all the work, probably epoxy the wet wall for H2S as well. So that station should be good for 30, 40 years at that point. The building's perfect. The wet wall is good. So if we epoxy it, probably put some new rails in for the pumps and then do the INC. We won't have to touch that station for a while. It'd be cheaper versus doing the whole thing.
Makes sense.
Snowberry pump station responded to an overvoltage alarm. We reset it. It ran normal after that. Wasn't anything in it. It might have passed just something large. West Farms, we reset pump overload number 1. That's the same one that's come in before. It happens when the generator kicks on. So it's something with the harmonic frequency and balance there. Some of those are like chasing a ghost, so it's hard to see unless you're out there every time it happens. The month of July and August, we jetted Colton Street, Wyndham Lane, and Tungsten Street. We assisted highway in cleaning and backing storm drains on Farmstead, Hawthorne, Main Street, and Mountainside. We reset the Avon flow meter. We just had a fault due to storms. Basswood was completed for the paving project. We epoxied the inside of the vac convolute That's basically where we suck everything out, passes through it. So it's approaching 10 years old at this point. So it's nothing that's kind of unexpected. The epoxy should last a good amount of time. We have some quotes coming. I'm assuming, I think the old truck, the Volutes were upwards of like 20,000. So I'm guessing it's probably around 30,000 for the Volute for the compressor there.
Mark, let me just ask you something.
Yep.
Going back to Mountainside. Does like Mountainside just not have enough storm drains when it rains, or what's the?
So
what's the
Mountainside,
issue?
it's so. God, I'm trying to remember because there was a bunch of them we did. I think the biggest problem was all the trap rock, it comes down so hard down the mountain.
Yeah,
It literally pushes the trap rock into the concrete lines, and then basically, so we had to have highway dug out the swale because you couldn't even see the pipe, and it was a 24-inch concrete pipe. So they dug it out thinking that would be it, and then the entire pipe was full of trap rock and silt.
because it comes right out into
Yep.
the street.
And I think the last record town hall had on that was 2003 or 4. So they had the heads we used for the vac truck to clean it. But the problem is, I mean, unless you're on a 1 or 2 year plan for that, when that comes flying down the hill, it just constantly just keeps going. So we couldn't completely free it up with our vac truck. It was actually cutting the hose because of the trap rock. So we're gonna try to get a couple, if we can feed a cable through with the hose, and then maybe pull almost like a grapple hook to get the rocks out. But it's hard. I'll take some pictures because we've been out there this week too. I mean, you're looking at a pipe from here to Stumspets, almost the gate coming in, and it's a 24-inch RCP, and it's full of trap rock and dirt. So even at 3,000 PSI, you're not gonna pull rocks back, right?
Yeah, but that's a private road.
Yeah, we were trying to get the bottom where it came down, like through Maine.
Yeah,
We got that one free, but there's one more up, and the problem was if we didn't get at least a couple of the bottom ones clean, it's just gonna keep flying into the one on Main Street.
dump it down on the Main Street.
Yep, because then it goes across under it, and then I believe that goes to the left, like south at that point, or north.
And some kind of screen on the front end help keep it.
We've tried that in other ones, and then it does work, and then it gets clogged sooner because it can't pass through. We had one on I believe it was Maria Road. The beavers kept making
Mhm.
nests
Oh,
in it,
yeah,
or
that one's on.
so we call it the Beaver Buster. It's like every spring we go, it's basically a grapple. It's like this big, and we just pull everything through because it happens every year.
Yeah.
But the amount of storm drains there are versus sewer, it's like we already do all the sewer, so we're trying to hit the problem areas when highway calls because they monitor those.
Yeah, but the town's on the hook for the private road. That was my question.
Not completely on it. We were more worried. The main one on Mountainside was the one going under Main Street. So that's what we were trying to clear. We didn't go all the way up because it's too narrow and it was
Yeah,
can't even get up there.
right, yeah.
But we were worried the two above it, some were corrugated. And once those start collapsing, then you just get all the silt goes back in the pipe on the bottom.
Right,
So
Right.
trying to do the best we could
Yeah,
with
that's
the
a
area.
Tough situation.
Yeah, because it really is, it's steep,
Yeah.
and
all the
any
road
big
part.
storm, it just comes ripping.
Yeah,
It's mainly a highway department issue, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
tough street. Well, it's not a street.
Where is that?
They don't plow it or anything. Across from CVS, if you go towards Lakeville on the left. The first left after CVS, after you go through the light. And then you go up there, so it's a private road, there are nice homes there, but the road is tight, narrow, and they pay to plow it.
Mhm.
It's-
So the area we were trying to get was right on CVS. It crosses over Main, and then it goes basically along the road to CVS on that
Mhm.
corner. So we cleaned all of that, the first one that goes under to Mountainside, and then the next one up. After that, it was a little clear, but the bottom ones just get killed with
Killed.
debris. All right, where were we? Okay, July and August, continue to inspect right of ways. Up by the jug handle by Yukon, Inwood Lane, Patrick Flood, Peggy Lane, Brookshire and Westwoods. Were all inspected and cleared. We actually put in a temporary concrete pipe and trap rock on Westwoods. We hit some of the farthest ones that I don't think have been hit in years, so that's completely clear up there. It was so wet last year, we couldn't even get in there. Now we can drive over to some of the farther areas. Worked with highway using the sewer camera to identify problem areas. Storm line on Main Street was camera to check for debris in the line. Repairs and maintenance at the plant. Reinstalled the primary mixer for the hybrid tank. This was we have 3 mixers in that tank. We just put a new seal in it. It's been in there for 3 years, so seal went bad. July 3rd, the UVT sensor failed. So the UVs basically run on UVT is your transmittance in the water. So if your water is turbid, your transmittance goes down. If it's clear, it goes up. So the dose is lower or higher. So it runs off a UVT sensor, and then based on the flow, it calculates the dose. When it fails and we have to take it out, we basically put in a manual UVT that sets the program at whatever we tell it for, if the water's clean or turbid, so then it can run in manual. We're actually getting the sensor back this week. We had to send it out for a repair. Replace the primary sampler refrigeration fan. We keep them. It seems the batch we have from 2018, I think we've replaced 4 fans. It's literally a fan that's this big. It's just in the refrigerator portion of it because the samples have to be 4 Celsius. We rerouted the location for the ammonia and the nitrate probes. The original location was right on the outfall, so they were basically getting hit constantly with the outfall of the water. So we changed the location of the sampler probes. It'll help give a more representative sample as well. We had OSHA do a voluntary walkthrough. They're coming back for a full walkthrough, but we met with them, talked for a couple hours. We're just tweaking a couple of things on confined space, lockout, tag out, just based on new things we want to add and stuff that they want to see.
So Mark, I was curious, is that Connecticut?
It's Con OSHA, yeah.
Con OSHA.
So basically, we called them
Yeah.
to come in before we get an official one. We did it 5 years ago too, and I mean, they were excellent.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll always find something. It's their job.
right.
But basically, so like for example, our lockout tag out sheets, we're trying to simplify it, right? So if we have an SOP, they like to see SOPs. It's easier if you, I don't know, like a highway garage versus if you have 1,000 pumps here, you're obviously never going to have an SOP for everything. So we're working on having a couple of the main ones for them. Confined space was pretty good. It was small things like instead of testing there 2 times in an hour, we're going to test it 3 times in an hour. So, but for the basic stuff, we already do it and then some. We put Final 3 back online.
Now, those guys, are they pretty familiar with the plan or the?
I mean, they know the plant pretty well because we've emailed them everything in the past, but they do anything from plants to highway garages, to schools, to anything. So. We put on Final 3 for the winter. It's now back to running 2 finals. The UPS and UV in the INC panel also failed. This was, I think August was the month. I think we had like 6 UPSs fail in 3 weeks. So it was just par for the course. But we have spares for a lot of these. So once we install them, we order another one, then we have it as a spare too. August 12th and 13th, we did blower maintenance on 1, 2, and 3. That's all the oil filters for the air and greasing. We had a high wet well alarm for the filtrate wet well. That's in the plant. We thought it was the transducer, but it was actually the arrestor in the panel. So he replaced that. We had a groundwater pumping station transducer fail. That's in the corner of the plant where the flagpole is. That obviously pumps a lot more when it rains. We installed our critical spare and ordered a second one. Primary pump 1 was also opened up. We had a piece of PVC in it. Have no idea where it came from, but it was in the pump. So it must have passed through the grinder and probably flowed through from there. We also put aeration tank 1 back on August 22nd. So now all 3 are back on. Clean them every summer. That was completed. So we filled it with water, just waited till we had to fill it for the fall and put it back on. And we also had brackets made for the DO probes. So they have big balls that sit in the water, and basically they almost like creak because there's so much weight on them. So they were originally made out of almost like a plastic epoxy. And between the UV light and the wind, they just started cracking. So we had aluminum ones made, and those should be there till the next upgrade, probably. The nitrogen we already went on over.
So we're just a little bit lower than normal. We have that one-
Yeah, well, we were 50 pounds under in August and 50, I mean, in July, and 52 pounds in August, which is it's pretty good. I actually have a graph I was gonna do next meeting that kind of shows, now that we've had that tank on for 3 years, historically where we are in 3 years. And it's kind of funny because it's pretty much, I mean, if you look at it, like all 3 years are within, I would say, like something like this, right? I mean, not perfect,
Yeah.
but they're very close. So I'm pretty confident in saying that it's running really well, but it's pretty much at the limit. I mean, you're not gonna squeeze another 20% out without adding chemical, but we don't need to because we're 50 pounds under. So calibrated the Avon and Crocus flow meters May 23rd, 24, and then we just had OSHA training for bloodborne pathogens and everything else. I think that was an old one though.
So staying with that nitrogen program for a minute.
Yep.
Are we still earning credits? I mean, so we're actually getting the money?
Correct. I should be getting a check and a total next month. So we'll know how much we're getting, but absolutely, yeah, it's funny, if you're 50 pounds over, you pay like $50,000. If you're 50 pounds under, you get a check for like 10K. So it's still good, but you know, it's not, they don't give you as much as you have to pay them.
More strict and careful.
Yeah, but we've been under every year since we had that on, without using chemical, so it's more so paid for itself. And then the phosphorus, we used to have to add alum or the polyaluminum chloride. So this year we haven't even turned it on once, and that used to average probably 70,000. So it's a big savings. Sewer lateral report. I think how many of these were. Yeah, it's most of these are repairs or fee collected. Yeah, Bridgehampton, $1,000 fee collected. Garden Street was an existing repair. That one, a tree grew over the lateral and the roots got in, so that was a big one. We had to go out there because we were trying to cut the roots instead of digging it up, but the tree was literally right over the sidewalk, so we ended up, they had to cut the whole pipe. Sunset Terrace, connection fee, Dunstable Close, fee collected, Bridgehampton, another fee collected, Farmington Avenue, sewer repair, Cook Street, brand new sewer connection, and then South Road and Great Meadow Lane were just repairs of existing laterals.
You did mention about calibrating the flow meter for Avon.
Yep.
I know we had this, that big huge bill here.
Yep.
And then there was something that you were gonna work on. I forget exactly what it was, but where do you stand, I guess, on that?
So they are still, I don't believe it was sent yet. We sent all the flow data to finance. I don't think finance sent it over yet, but everything on our end, the flow meters were calibrated. We met both people, Tim Foster and them from Avon out there, so they were there. Everything was checked, verified, we're within the permissible levels. There's nothing really left for us to do, so they're good.
Well,
I mean,
they're good if they pay the bill.
yeah, they paid every bill up to date. Finance just has not sent the last one yet, so. And we can go over some of that after too.
Meeting schedule.
Yeah, we just have the last one on section G for approval of the 2024 5-meeting schedule.
Okay, and that's typical, it's every Wednesday except the August meeting, and then in December, we meet at an earlier time, 6 p.m. Anybody have any issues with that?
Looks good.
All right.
No changes.
Okay.
Any other business, Mark?
I think we're good. Should be it.
Anybody have anything I want to add?
You still flying the flag, Mark?
Yep, it's up there.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just not windy today. We finally got them to repair everything. So we got all the panels were fixed. We got new hardware, Six Flags. The lights work. The only thing was when the panel fell, they broke the photocell on it. So we're just waiting on a photocell, but we got new lights, panels, everything.
Everything.
So I think they went to the sighting council on that. Cause they were taking so long.
So that you can keep the flag up now with the lights? At
Yep.
nighttime?
Yep.
Good.
We just have to make sure, we tried to like trick it into running to see, but when we're here, it's not dark enough, so we wanna make sure it's lit up, you know?
Just sets it.
If not, we can get a bigger one, but some of the actual lights for a 140-foot pole are, I think like 2,500 a piece. But if they look nice, we can get them,
Yeah.
so once that photo cell comes in, we'll verify and then run it, it'll look good though.
Yeah, good.
I never thought to bring it up, but is somebody taking care of your clock, you know, when you're not there?
So yeah, I've been taking care of it.
You still taking care of it?
Yeah. Yeah, $700 a year to have them keep that sucker running. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, all right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried, thank you.